Hello to you, beautiful people. My name is Noa Lakshmi, and I'm here to elevate humanity for a better world. Thank you so much for joining me in that courageous endeavor. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you found me. And if you are a returning viewer to my channel or a subscriber, so much appreciation. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, indeed, we are doing this together, and I use astrology as a tool to help us navigate through this experience that we call life. And if you are curious and would like to know more about myself and the work that I do in the world, which is astrology, but so much more, which I'm going to talk about more at the end of the video. But again, my name is Noa Lakshmi, and my website is noalakshmi.com. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So there is plenty to talk about, especially now that I'm making these videos once every couple of weeks, full moon, new moon kind of a cycle. Plenty to talk about. 2017 is ending. Definitely not quiet. It's not a quiet ending to an already very full, somewhat explosive year that we had here, 2017, in the linear calendar, okay? But leading up to the solstice, because that's how I see the cycles more than the linear calendar of the 12 months. But from solstice to an equinox to a solstice and into an equinox. So we are approaching 3 weeks away exactly from winter solstice, which is going to mark the new phase that we will be entering into, a new quarter. And so, the next 3 weeks are packed with so much. So I'll be talking about the full moon that is approaching this weekend for sure, but also what's occurring right now and leading up to the full moon, and then a few days after the full moon. What does it all mean? How is it playing in our own personal lives on the global stage? And okay, so let's dive in. Let's just see what happens here. So today is Thursday, November 30th. And the last couple of days, the significance of the last couple of days as we are approaching this full moon, and on the day of the full moon, that's another twist to the whole thing, is that the same day, and I don't see any coincidences in anything that happens in life and in the cosmos, the same day that we have the full moon is when Mercury goes retrograde, okay? And it's going to be in retrograde for 3 weeks, and like I said, leading up to the solstice. So as Mercury about to stop and go retrograde, it just a couple days ago joined forces or met up with Saturn. Saturn is in the last degrees of Sagittarius, about to complete his cycle in Sagittarius, which is a 2.5-year cycle. So that's very significant all by itself. And then Mercury meeting Saturn right before it's about to go retrograde. And Mercury is going to be with Saturn for a while, which is something important to pay attention to, because usually the meeting happens and then Mercury just goes on its way. But because it's slowing down and going retrograde, it's going to hang out with Saturn for quite a while, okay? As Saturn finishing his cycle in Sagittarius, like I said. Now, what the heck does that all mean? Especially if you're not so into astrology, it's like, okay, that's just mumbo jumbo. What does it mean for me, for my life, for the world, globally, yeah? Because again, it's very significant. There's no coincidences. And let's just remember also that Saturn is not going to be in Sagittarius for another 28 years, my friends, 28 years. So that means that this meeting of Mercury with Saturn in Sagittarius for a period of almost 3 weeks is not going to happen anytime soon, And so what we are receiving from this, what is the message here? Well, first of all, Mercury is the messenger. It's it's the planet, it's the energy that goes into has the ability to go all the way down to the underworld and then come back up, back into the heavens and deliver a message. It's the only planet, the only energy that has that ability to go from one world to another world, and it's the messenger of the gods. Okay, in Sagittarius, what is that message? What is that message of truth? After coming out of the Scorpio season, where there's this digging deep into the layers of our psyches, the layers of our being, the layers of what we feel, the layers of what we want, the layers of just who am I and who do I want to be. Now the message comes back up from that deep digging, message of truth in Sagittarius, and expansion and growth. This is serious, well, maybe not serious, but this is definitely looking into our future. It's almost as if the message that is coming is from the future to be realized and come into form in the present moment, because we have Saturn here. All right? So Saturn is what brings the energy that brings things into form, reality, right here, right now. But also, since Saturn is the timekeeper and very much connected to karma, how I see Saturn, is things from the past, the karma that we are experiencing here and now. What is the truth that we are learning from it? What is the message that we are receiving from it? And how do we choose to move forward and create our future from a more expanded perspective? Not from being stuck in the past, not from repeating the same karmic cycles over and over again in the patterns, but rather looking into the future from a much more broader perspective, and knowing that we are not limited and we are not stuck in some sort of pattern or karmic pattern. Okay? So the looking into the future and what we say, creating your future. The meeting of Saturn and Mercury in this way for a while in the sign of Sagittarius and in the last degrees of Sagittarius, it's future looking, and get yourself unstuck from any karma, from anything that is not who you are, that is not the truth of who you are, because Sagittarius is the truth seeking. And the truth about what? About you, about me, about reality. Who is it that I believe myself to be? And am I just a byproduct of karmic cycles? Am I just a byproduct of somebody else's dogma? Am I just a byproduct of somebody else's religion, belief systems, perceptions? All of that up for evaluation, especially when Mercury goes retrograde, because that's what Mercury is all about: reevaluating, rethinking, re-examining, maybe redoing some things. Okay, with Saturn in the picture, taskmaster, it's definitely time for doing things and bringing things into form based on this 2.5-year cycle that Saturn has been in Sagittarius, teaching us. Some of it is harsh lessons, not so pleasant, teaching us about the truth, about our future, what kind of a future we want to create for ourselves individually in our own individual lives, and then of course for the world, because it's connected on the global stage. That is big energy that we are feeling right now as we are coming into this full moon that is happening on December 3rd, 7:47 a.m. Pacific time. So check your time. December 3rd, full moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Do you think that's a coincidence? Of course not. The sun is in Sagittarius, opposing the moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which only just a few hours, 7 hours before this full moon, Mercury goes retrograde. The ruler of this full moon, which is Gemini, which is Mercury, goes retrograde just a few hours before the full moon. Not a coincidence. Looking into the details of our lives, re-examining all the details of our lives. Is it an integrity? Because Mercury is with Saturn. Is it an integrity with my truth? My communications, the way I express myself, what it is that I express, the exchange that I have in my life, in my work, with my words, with my thoughts, with my beliefs. Is that in alignment? Is that in an integrity with the way I choose to create things with my life? Is there spiritual integrity in my life? Because we are looking at Sagittarius, spirituality and philosophy, my belief systems, are there in integrity with what I really believe myself to be? Is that in an integrity with a future that I am envisioning for myself, the world, my family, my loved ones? And this full moon is to illuminate. And we might find opposition between the immediate environment that we find ourselves in. We might find an opposition between that and, but I'm seeing the bigger picture and the future that I'm envisioning. And Sagittarius is faith, so we've got to have faith. So even if the immediate environment doesn't reflect everything that we know and we believe that we will create and manifest in our future, to not get discouraged, to not lose faith, to not lose sight of the greater picture of life. That's what faith is all about. Now, this full moon talking about faith and spirituality, right? What it is that we believe in, the greater force of life that is not limited to just one image. That's not what God is. God is just infinite and it's everything and everyone in its life. That's just my perspective. I'm not going to impose that onto you. But do you think it's a coincidence that on this full moon in 11 degrees Gemini, the moon is going to be there, 11 degrees Sagittarius, that's where the sun is going to be in, exact square to Neptune at 11 degrees Pisces. I mean, come on. And on top of that, so check this out, Neptune is exact trine to Jupiter, 11 degrees Scorpio, beautiful water trine. Anything, if those of you that are watching, if you know a little bit about astrology and you have anything in 11 degrees of any of those mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, or anything in the 11 degrees of either Scorpio or Pisces, or any of the other fixed signs, boy oh boy, they're definitely in for a treat. So with this full moon, with this opposition scoring Neptune, and Neptune is what? Neptune is our dreams, and it's our, to some degree, it's our faith in God and our connection. More, not so much the faith, that's more Jupiter, but Neptune is our connection, our spiritual connection to life, our spiritual connection that we find in what it is that we do in everyday life. Because we have the moon in Gemini, which is very much just everyday life, an exchange, commerce. Neptune is our spiritual connection, and to find that spiritual connection in everything that we do, in every word that we say, every gesture that we offer, every connection to another human being. Mercury is very much the social butterfly in the connection to people and the social, in the social context of things. Squaring Neptune, this full moon that is squaring Neptune. Again, where is the conflict between our everyday life, our immediate environment? Is there a conflict between that and what my faith is? Do I find spiritual connection in the things that I do? Or maybe it's time for me to find that connection and to bring that into everything that I do. That the ordinary becomes the extraordinary. this full moon is really an opportunity for that. With Sagittarius, that is so much the expansive and optimistic and the bigger picture of life. And squaring Neptune on this full moon, hey, we can make what we see the ordinary extraordinary, and to bring that magic and to bring that sense of magic and spirit into everything that we do, and into every conversation, and into every exchange. And that can feel perhaps challenging. And also an invitation, an opportunity to examine life in that way, with Mercury in retrograde just a few hours before this full moon. What's lacking, and where is it that I'm looking to find more of that connection, more of that deep connection, more of that magic. And if something doesn't reflect that, so there's room for modifications and some changes. And Mercury in retrograde is to change the things that need to change by reevaluating and rethinking, and where is it in my life that I can actually add some more magic and a spiritual connection. And if it's not there, what needs to change in our relationships, in the work that we do, in our exchange with the world, in our daily activities. It's time for illumination, because that's paving our way to our future. The future is not just going to be created like poof by itself. There are forces beyond our control. There are unseen forces for sure, but it's also the choices that we make in everyday life. And what it is that we choose to do, what it is that we choose to say, and more, very important here, what it is that we choose to think and believe. This full moon is inviting us to, with Neptune square, because Neptune is reforming, it's dissolving, it has the ability to dissolve. What are the thoughts, belief systems that are, now is really the time to dissolve, to let go of. With Pisces, is to just let it die, let it dissolve, let go of some of thought structures and belief systems that are not taking you into a brighter future. Sun in Sagittarius, Saturn finishing in Sagittarius. Okay, and maybe it's a belief system and a way of thinking that is the block from actually bringing into form what it is that you want to create. Okay, so there's a lot to work with this full moon. And then, like I said, Jupiter is going to try Neptune. That's happening December 2nd. And the day before that, Venus is moving into Sagittarius. So another energy now goes into Sagittarius, which Jupiter is the ruler of that. Venus moving into Sagittarius, and that's a relief. After being in Scorpio for about a month, Venus and Sagittarius really want to have fun, but it's also wanting to form relationships with those that can help us have faith, that can help us think bigger, and can actually help us move forward and move into the future with us in a very optimistic way, not delusional. There's a difference there, and that's the cautious sign with Neptune, is to know the difference between delusional thinking and optimistic thinking. Okay? And for that, we need to look at the details, but nevertheless, find the difference. Know that you are not delusional, or being in delusional relationships. There's a big difference there. But to be with people that remind you of the bigger picture of life and are optimistic and can uplift us. There's very much time for adventures here as well. But again, adventures that are not delusional, but adventures that are based in reality, and adventures that are going to open your mind, are going to expand the horizons, and are going to take you into the future that you're envisioning. So Venus in Sagittarius in that way, and then we having a beautiful trine between Jupiter and Neptune. It very much is an opening, some sort of a portal. I see it, opening of a portal to some beautiful spiritual realizations and spiritual wisdom and spiritual expansion that can happen. That's really a time for magic. Time for magic. And this full moon is going to activate Neptune, even though it's a square. Nevertheless, it's an activation. And at the same time, with that activation, Neptune is reaching out to Jupiter in a beautiful trine. So there's a very harmonious, beautiful exchange between the two, where our spiritual realizations can help us in what we choose to create for our future. And a lot can open up in those spiritual channels. This is definitely a crown chakra kind of an energy to receive some awesome downloads. So meditation during this full moon is very much in order. And anything that can really open you up and open your crown chakra to receive those downloads. And everybody has their own way to connect to that energy. So this time around, this full moon is a wonderful time to harness these energies and to find yourself with people, if it's by yourself or with people, that intentionally we come together for that purpose, for that deep connection with one another, with spirit, and how do we use that to form and create a brighter future, again, for ourselves, in our relationships, and globally. The power of prayer. This is a full moon to show us the power of prayer. It doesn't go unheard or unseen what you pray for yourself and for other people and for the world. This is a time for compassion. This is a time for forgiveness with Neptune in the picture. And the square, again, it might be very challenging, but who is it that you seek to forgive? Forgive yourself first and foremost, and forgive others. This is a time for forgiveness, ladies and gentlemen. Forgiveness, and to express forgiving words to other people. If you need to apologize to somebody, if you realize that something maybe hasn't been the greatest in a relationship, or make amends, this is the time for it. And to find compassion for other people, and to find forgiveness for other people. And most importantly, like I said, to be compassionate with yourself and to forgive yourself. Okay, this full moon is very much about that. There's so much healing coming from that place of forgiveness and compassion. And of course, 2 days after the full moon, Chiron goes direct in the sign of Pisces, still finishing in Pisces, forgiveness and compassion. It's like Christ consciousness, Mother Teresa kind of an energy, which can bring about tremendous amount of healing for ourselves and our collective consciousness. Later on next week, December 9th, Mars is going to go into Scorpio, and that's going to bring a lot of power to implement, to move forward, and to take action, because Mars is still a little bit in a weak spot in Libra. So it's time for a lot of inner work, and a lot of prayers, like I said, and cultivating more faith, and cultivating a lot of your inner strength to then move forward with a lot of inner power, and within ourselves and between other people and relationships, to start creating from that place. Whew, la la, that's just a lot. It's just a loaded couple of weeks, and this full moon is just, my goodness. Forgive, let go, and move forward with a lighter heart. It's that's what we talk about, unconditional love. To forgive those that is hard to forgive, and to realize that really at the end of the day, everything is part of a bigger picture, and everybody is playing a very specific role in your life. So what seemed to be like, oh, they did something wrong to me, if we look deeper and if we expand our perspective, again, that's Jupiter in Sagittarius, we see they actually played the perfect part that they came here to play in my life, and the part that I play, you play in other people's lives. Yes, sometimes apologies are necessary, and at the end of the day, there's a perfect orchestration for all of this, and we each of us play a very divine part in other people's lives. And that's where we can source our compassion and our forgiveness and our ability to move forward and to really just release all that baggage that can keep us very much stuck emotionally and spiritually. And a lot of times it manifests as a physical thing as well. So there's more that I can say about that. That's just what I love doing and talking about. So if you're interested to explore more on your own journey, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, check out my website, noalakshmi.com. That's the work that I do, and I would love to hear from you. And also, I've got my book, Master Your Life with Love, that I published a few months ago, and talking about how to create the most loving and profound relationship with yourself, and then upgrade your life and change your life from the inside out. That's what the book is about, and you can find that on Amazon. The link is going to be down below. And again, would love to hear from you. If you're loving this video, please subscribe to my channel and share this video. It helps so much, and I so appreciate that. You can check the video that I made about Scorpio being in Jupiter being in Scorpio for the next year, and learn more about your ability to master your life, which we all can benefit from. And then, yeah, check out my website, noalakshmi.com. Yes, that's it. Sending you so much love, so much light. Stay awesome and stay beautiful. Have a beautiful full moon, and I will see you next time. Sat Nam.